not. I think it doesn't hurt us in any way to be alert.
Right.
I've always told people, even when it's a goof or a lie or somebody spreading rumors around, as soon as it has to do with terrorism or terror threat or scare, please pay
Serious.
attention, take caution. It doesn't hurt you anywhere.
How secure is our airspace?
Um, that's a very long debate, and I know time is running out. Personally, in my consultancy to the Senate, I wrote that to them and I said, I think we need to do more to secure our airspace. If you go to Kigali, they've even put anti-aircraft batteries on top of the critical installations in the city, the Senate, the Parliament. And I said, why can't we do that? Put one on top of KICC, put one on top of Times Tower, put one on top of almost every critical installation in town, because a problem could come from the air. And the communique that leaked from Kenya Airports Authority Security just says exactly that. There'll be planes crashing.
Thank you. Thanks, Mwenda.
Thank you. I
Always a
appreciate
pleasure talking to
Asante.
you. Mwenda Mbijua, in-house security analyst here on KTN. Let's now take you to Uganda, where there was demonstrations. It is barely 2 weeks since the Electoral Commission announced the presidential election results, declaring Museveni the president, and there have been demonstrations. Let's now bring in our KTN's Uganda correspondent, that is Solomon Serwanja, on phone live from Kampala. Solomon, just what was happening today, if you can just bring us up to speed.
Well, what I can tell you, Ben, is that it's, you could call it political drama. Of course, we saw young people, most of them from Front for Democratic Change, but some of them want to call themselves the Jobless Brotherhood, who brought piglets at the State House in Nakasero in protest of the results that were announced by engineer Dr. Badru Chigundu, which of course saw President Museveni return back to power. Now, the pigs were brought clothed in yellow T-shirts with President Museveni's picture, which perhaps speaks loud of what really they feel about President Museveni's regime. Now, that cannot be taken lightly. I mean, this is not the first time these youths are bringing piglets in Uganda. Now, they brought the same piglets painted yellow at the August Assembly, that is at Parliament of Uganda last year, of course, protesting MPs whom at that time they described as not fair and just being greedy as pigs. So this time around, we're seeing them coming back and putting more pressure on the Electoral Commission to release the results. That's barely a month before, after the Electoral Commission did release those results. So, Ben, if I can tell you what is happening here, there is pressure from different people demanding the Electoral Commission to come out clear and transparent about the manner in which they tallied the results and whether indeed they reflect what happened at the different polling stations. Now, if you ask me what is going on Dr. Kizza Besigye's side, he's still under arrest. Every other day there's heavy deployment of police around his home. He's not accepted to get out. And then maybe let me just tell you that they only have until tomorrow to file a petition against the results that were released by the Electoral Commission. So if they fail to file that petition by close of tomorrow, it means that they will not have any case in court challenging the results that were released then.
Right, Solomon, also in Kasangati today there was some drama where some journalists were, including a journalist from our partner station NBS, was detained for a few minutes. Can you just give us more details on that?
Well, I'll tell you this then. It's, there's a group that came at Kasangati with dummies of weapons, as you saw in the story, the missiles and dummies of guns, just saying that we need you to get off the campus of Dr. Kizza Besigye and let him do what he has to do. And so the police really was angered by that. They tried to chase them, but they couldn't catch them. It was kind of a cat and mouse game. But of course, we saw journalists were there. I think, the police officers got orders that they vacate that place. And so we had the police moving in there strongly and, arresting journalists, including one NBS journalist, Elijah Turiagumanewe, who was actually reporting a live report on NBS Now, which is a lunchtime bulletin here in Uganda. He was arrested live on TV, which I think captured the minds and hearts of many as they saw, a journalist reporting live but also arrested. Nevertheless, no case was opened against them. They were later on, set free, and they were allowed to continue on with their own businesses. But I think if we are to read into this, it really means that the police does not want the outside world or to know what's happening at Dr. Kizza Besigye's home. I mean, the heavy deployments around his home and him not allowed to get out. It is perhaps disturbing to many Ugandans, especially to the fans of Dr. Kizza Besigye. So blocking out the media from showing what is happening at Dr. Kizza Besigye's home has been really, the social media and civil society organizations have really come out strongly and vehemently against the arrest of journalists earlier on today at Dr. Kizza Besigye's home.
Thank you, Solomon. Let's now bring you that story. Demonstrators in Uganda dropped piglets to State House in Kampala to show disapproval of the recently announced presidential results that saw President Yoweri Museveni extend his 30-year rule. Miles away, in opposition leader Dr. Kizza Besigye's home in Kasangati, journalists were detained while covering the protests by a group of youth. And here's Solomon Serwanja with that report.
You could call it a day of political drama in Uganda as pressure continues to mount on the Electoral Commission, with a section of the public challenging the results from the recently concluded elections. On Monday, a group of youth who only identified themselves as the Jobless Brotherhood dropped piglets at the gate of State House in Nakasero. The pigs were dressed in yellow, which is the color for the National Resistance Movement Party, headed by President Yoweri Museveni, were quickly picked up by the police and the Special Forces Command, which manages the president's security. The Jobless Brotherhood are challenging the results from the recently concluded elections, which saw Museveni announced as the winner. Meanwhile, about 10 kilometers from the capital Kampala in Kasangati, the home of key opposition leader Dr. Kizza Besigye, another demonstration by youth who turned up to challenge the deployment of police officers with dummies of missiles and other weapons. They were, however, blocked and chased by police officers who also failed to capture them. While the media was busy on the other side capturing the drama, the police were not amused by the experience. For them to avoid any further embarrassment, the police arrested journalists who had camped at Dr. Kizza Besigye's home, including NBS's television journalist Elijah Turiagumanawe, who was arrested while reporting live about the events at Besigye's home.
Capturing that. Just like you can see the situation here, all our viewers and NBS, we've been put on the police pickup, and police has not given any standing reason as to why journalists should be treated this way, as why journalists should be just what.
They were briefly detained by police and later released with a caution not to return to Dr. Besigye's home. Dr. Besigye was once again arrested by police and taken to an unknown location. Besigye's preventive arrest has made it difficult for him to meet his lawyers and to file a petition at the Supreme Court if he's to challenge the results in the courts of law. Tuesday, March 1st is the deadline to file any such petitions.
It would be unthinkable. Nobody can imagine that under such circumstances you can lodge a petition. How? Petition means you interface with your people. There are affidavits to be sworn, there are documents to be signed, there are lawyers to be briefed, there are instructions to be given. In the present circumstances and the provisions of the law that give only 10 days, this government has made it practically impossible.
Meanwhile, former Prime Minister John Patrick Amama Mbabazi's lawyers are expected to file a petition in the Supreme Court tomorrow, challenging the results before the lapse of the deadline. Solomon Serwanja, KTN News, Kampala, Uganda.
The latest drama from Kampala, where Besigye is still under house arrest. Remember, tomorrow, the 1st of March 2016, is the deadline to file any election presidential result complaints in court. Our team in Kampala is keeping an eye on that. You're watching Bottomline East Africa. Many thanks for staying with us. We take a quick break. Don't go too far.